Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage V. Jackson aluminum block roller petrol lighter that has had all kinds of problems since I acquired it. It had some sort of sealant or clear coat that had mucked up the entire bottom of the lighter. I'm not sure if somebody was trying to seal off this fuel screw against evaporation, but there is still some of that sealant or whatever that material was inside the threads of both the fuel screw and the threaded fuel hole. We got most of it cleaned up. It's not going to cause any problem what's there. Still threads down just fine by hand. No fuel screw needed. But when I received it, there was a layer, or really it looked like multi-layers of this material that was stuck to the bottom. Very hard, didn't look like silicone. It was a harder material than that. And I soaked the lighter in alcohol a couple of times. It started peeling off. Was able to get most of it off of the bottom, and at least from the outside, most of it that was on the screw. Like I said, there is still some on those threads, but that isn't going to hurt anything. In the process of soaking the bottom of this lighter to get that whatever foreign material off of the lighter, the wadding became contaminated with alcohol, so I ended up just pulling all the wadding and the wick out of it. Used a little bit of Mother's aluminum polish on it, and it shined up really nice. Cleaned up pretty good. Not perfect or anything, but nice gloss on the finish there. So we have a copper woven Zippo type wick that you can see this end is untouched, typical the way it's sort of blooming out there. This end we have twisted down into a tight, slender, narrow strand that will hopefully slide right into this lighter without any problem. So you want to take your wick, and as you kind of spin it, put it in that hole. Looks like all of that wick is going down. Nothing is bunching up or getting caught. It's a relatively tight fit. And from where we can see the wick there, we should be able to reach in there with either our needle nose pliers, which we were able to do, or a pair of tweezers might have worked as well. Going to get our wick here to the proper length. Make sure that it will all close up underneath the snuffer. Now that we have the wick in there at the proper length, and we will stuff this lighter with our wadding and work that wick down in there with it as we go. We might as well go ahead and take these needle nose and just put a little crimp in it so that at least it will want to go down in there. Got a length of about 4 or 5 inches of organic cotton coil that we have pulled off and separated into 4 strands. It's all still lightly connected from the ends, but we just thinned it down so that it'll fit down in the lighter a little easier. You want to feed that down in there firmly. You do not want to lose the wick. So you can see there that with that last push, the wick went down in there a pretty good distance to where it could have disappeared on us with the wadding if we let it, but we'll keep a hold of that here with our hand and work that wadding on down into the tank of this aluminum block Petrol lighter. So we have enough wadding in there now. We will tuck this wick away. Down into the wadding. Take our bottle of Roncinol fuel. And give this lighter a good squirt. You can see that cotton drink that fluid up. Still absorbing it. And it doesn't look like it's still absorbing it, and that may be a little bit too much, just a little, but we're going to go ahead and seal it off there. I think with this fuel screw, the gasket that is still intact, we'll see if that will hold that fuel and keep it from coming on out the bottom. Do have some fuel pouring out the top here. Not uncommon. Happens often, and we will go ahead and wipe this entire thing down with the household disinfectant cloth. Get the excess fuel off the sides of the lighter. Pull our flint screw and spring. Drop a brand new red flint down the tube. Thank you, Robert. Get our flint spring down and the screw started. We'll turn that to make sure we get our wick, or not our wick, but our flint grooved in the proper direction. Now we should be able to tighten that on down. So there you see the flint spring screw back in place. Lighter all polished up. Hit the roller. Not too bad to light up on the second try. Until next time.